Welcome back to the Mid-Century Vault. It's that place where we unlock the stories behind the cool, the curious, the kitschy, and the most nostalgic trends from 1930 to 1980. Well, today we're looking up and to the right at the rearview mirror to talk about that plush piece of Americana, the fuzzy dice. Now, if you were to think these dice were just a novelty item, you need to think again. Their story is a history informed by danger and adrenaline, and it traces back to American fighter pilots in World War II. Those pilots, knowing that every mission was indeed a gamble, would often put a pair of real dice on their instrument panel set to show 7 for fortune as a good luck charm. And there was the additional darker inference that each flight was a literal roll of the dice. When these flyboys returned home after 45, they brought that dice tradition with them. And incidentally, decorating one's car was a fad that goes all the way back to the Model T. College kids painted their jalopies in the 20s and 30s, and for the more high-tone crowd, it was fresh flowers in onboard cut glass vases. So when many of our former pilots became involved in the burgeoning hot rod and street racing culture, they hung small, initially plastic dice from their rearview mirrors. It was a subtle counterculture signal to other drivers that you were ready to dice with death, or at least race for pinks. But here's where the fuzzy part comes in. See, those plastic dice would make a racket clanging against the windshield in tight turns in the winter or melt from the hot sun in the summer. And it was about this same time that Americans were headlong into their love affair with fake fur that was being made from newly introduced acrylic polymers. So the story goes that someone, likely a resourceful spouse or girlfriend, started making oversized dice out of soft plush fabric. This gimmick caught on, and by the mid-50s, fuzzy dice were being officially mass-marketed by auto accessory companies. Thousands upon thousands of them were being churned out. Soon, their popularity branched far beyond the racing crowd, with the 50s, 60s, and 70s being their prime years. You saw them in movies, on TV shows, in commercials, and in virtually every high school parking lot. They moved from being a symbol of dangerous street racing to a symbol of your own individual personality as you rebelliously made that speedy and dangerous drive to the dry cleaners. By the late 80s, the trend was starting to be viewed as a bit cheesy and cliche, and furthermore, many states started signing in laws prohibiting items hanging from the rearview mirror, citing obstruction of view, which pushed the accessory into a legal gray area, and the fad waned a bit. But they're sure not gone. They're still available in every full-service car wash and auto parts store. And here in the California desert where I live, where cars simply don't rust, I'll bet you I see a classic car with a pair of fuzzy dice hanging from the rearview mirror just about every day of my life. And they're still a go-to for classic car and hot rod enthusiasts, and they're great novelty gifts. A funny, recognizable nod to a bygone era that links the serious gambles of a world war with the freedom of the American road. Listen, what's the best accessory you ever put on a car? Drop a comment about it right after you've hit the like button. And until next time, my road hogs, may you always roll nothing but sevens.